Now listen close, 'cause what I'm fixin' to share ain't meant for just anybody. It ain't for the crowd, it ain't for the ones scrolling past without stopping to feel a thing. No, this here's for you, just you. Your name was spoken way up above all the clatter of this world, in a place filled with light where decisions about your life are still being made. A letter, sealed with fire, was handed to a messenger who's been searching high and low for you through every hour of your recent pain. You didn't stumble on this by accident. There ain't no accidents in heaven's design. The very fact your eyes are resting on these words right now, that's the first proof. The silence you've been living in, it's fixing to break. I'm the voice that watched you when no one else did. The presence standing at the foot of your bed on those nights you cried into the dark, thinking no soul could hear your heart breaking. But I heard it. Every shiver, every swallowed scream, every prayer whispered when you didn't even have the strength to believe it had been answered. And now, after all that, a letter's come down from the sky with your name on it. I'm here to read it to you, slow and steady, so nothing slips past. Don't you turn away now. Don't tell yourself this message is meant for someone else, someone more deserving, holier or cleaner living than you. That lie's been following you a long time, whispering you're too far gone, too worn out, too invisible for anything good. I'm here to tear that lie apart right in front of you. Heaven don't pick the loud ones. It don't pick the polished or proud. It picks the forgotten, the ones who've carried heavy burdens in silence, whose tears fell unseen on pillows, kitchen tables, and steering wheels of cars parked outside homes they didn't want to enter. You're one of them. And that letter with your name, it wasn't written for the face you show the world. It was written for who you really are when the door closes, the mask comes off, and there's no one left to impress. That's the one heaven sees. That's the one heaven loves. That's the one whose name is glowing on that sealed parchment, held by a hand stronger than any storm you've ever faced. Feel the weight of this moment. It's real. There's a reason this reaches you now. Not a year from now, not next month, but right now, in this very season, when you've started wondering if things will ever change. The timing ain't yours. It belongs to the one who counts every hair on your head and every sleepless night you've endured. And that timing says, today. The letter couldn't wait another minute. The messenger couldn't hold it back no more. Something shifted in the unseen. Something decided in your favor, and it couldn't be kept quiet any longer. So lean in, quiet the noise around you. Let all the worries, the bills, the doubters, and the voices telling you to settle go silent, 'cause the voice of heaven is louder than all of them together, and it's calling your name right now. I know what they did to you. I know how they looked right through you like you were glass, like you weighed nothing, like you could just be pushed aside without a single consequence. I saw the rooms where you gave all you had and got almost nothing back. I saw you show up again and again for folks who wouldn't cross the street for you. I saw you swallow your own needs to make space for everybody else, and I saw how no one ever asked how you were really doing. Not truly, not waiting on the honest answer. You became the strong one by default, the one holding it all together, and nobody ever stopped to wonder who was holding you. The answer you've been looking for all your life is this. I was. I've been holding you all along, even in the loneliest moments. Even when you felt abandoned by all that's good. There's a special kind of tiredness living deep inside you, and the world don't have no name for it 'cause it can't see it. It ain't just your body being worn out, though your body's carried plenty. It's the soul tiredness, the kind that comes from hoping and being let down so many times, hope itself starts feeling risky. You've come to a place where you're scared to want too much, 'cause wanting has hurt you so deep before. You learned to expect less so the fall wouldn't break you again. You learned to celebrate quiet-like, to dream with caution, to guard those tender places where joy used to run free. And I want you to know I see that guarded heart of yours, and I don't see weakness. I see a soldier who kept on walking after wounds that had stopped most folks. I see someone who, despite every reason to turn bitter and cold, still keeps a flicker of tenderness burning deep inside, a flame that ain't gone out, no matter how many cold winds tried to snuff it. Remember them mornings you woke before the sun, laying in the dark just gathering enough strength to start another day? Nobody applauded that. Nobody saw the courage it took to set your feet on that floor and face hours promising more of the same. Remember the meals you fixed with hands trembling from worry? The smiles you forced so your loved ones wouldn't carry your burden too? Remember them nights you stayed up, doing the math over and over, trying to stretch numbers like they'd stretch, your heart pounding in a silence so deep you could hear the clock ticking your fear away? Heaven kept track of every one of those nights. Not a single tear fell unnoticed. Each one was gathered, counted, held close, and 'cause in the Spirit's economy, the tears of the faithful ain't wasted. They're seeds, and the harvest season is coming now. You felt invisible so long you started believing invisibility was your fate. You watched others get the praise you longed for. You watched doors swing open for folks who didn't even knock as hard as you did. You saw love, favor, and breakthroughs flow to others while you stood just outside the circle of light, wondering what was wrong with you, wondering why blessings always seemed to pass your house on by. And the cruelest part? The silence. How you couldn't even say this pain out loud without sounding ungrateful or pitiful, so you kept it all to yourself, that quiet grief of being overlooked by life itself. I'm telling you now, with all the authority heaven gave me, your invisibility was never punishment and it was never forever. It was a covering. You were hidden for a reason, and that time of hiding is coming to an end. Before I dive deeper into the revelation that's come your way, there's something you need to understand, 'cause knowing this and choosing to ignore it, well, that's a burden you don't want to carry. There are times in life when heaven leans in close and whispers, and what you do in that moment shapes everything that follows. This right here, this is one of those moments. Now, I ain't saying this to scare you, 'cause fear ain't the language of the one who sent me. No, sir, I'm telling you this 'cause love that keeps the truth hidden, that ain't love at all. When a call comes down from above, a summon, a beckoning, to ignore it ain't no neutral act. Turning away from the hand reaching out to you, brushing off the message as some coincidence, closing your heart and crawling back into that small, dim room of doubt you've been living in. That's just delaying your own deliverance with your own two hands. Plenty folks have stood right where you stand now, felt that warmth of invitation, then talked themselves out of it. They went back to their fear, 'cause fear felt familiar and safer than the scary chance of being truly, fully blessed. Don't be one of them, neglecting the Spirit. That's the quiet heartbreak of so many lives. Folks feel the nudge, but they ignore it. They sense the door, but won't step through it. They hear the voice, but convince themselves it was just their imagination, some wishful thinking, or the noise of their own longing. And then that moment slips by, and the blessing that was set aside just for them, well, it ain't gone forever, but it's delayed, sometimes for years, sometimes till they've suffered enough to finally listen. I don't want that for you. You've suffered long enough, you've waited enough. So when I speak to you about what's coming, take it in. Don't argue with it. Don't shrink away. Don't tell yourself you ain't worthy, 'cause worthiness ain't about earning it. The one who loves you already decided you're worthy. That decision's sealed and final. There's a weight, a heaviness that settles on the soul that turns away from its calling. I've seen it many times. It ain't no punishment from above, but the natural sorrow of a life lived smaller than it was meant to be. The ache of potential left unopened. The dull pain of a person who deep down knew more was offered, but were too scared to reach out. I don't want that weight on your shoulders. You weren't made for a small life. You weren't made to spend your days apologizing for taking up space or dimming your own light so others can feel comfortable in their darkness. You were made for something the world ain't seen yet in you, something even you haven't fully seen yet. And this message you've received, it's the first unsealing of that hidden purpose. Now hear this promise and let it warm you like sunshine thawing frozen hands. Something has started moving in the unseen world on your behalf. While you slept, while you worked, while you wept, while you went through the hard days, a mighty spirit machine was turning quietly in your favor. Decisions against you were being reversed. Verdicts spoken in places you couldn't see, overturned. Chains wrapped around your destiny, some placed there by others, some by your own hands in moments of despair, are being examined and broken, one link at a time, by a power strong enough to shatter 'em all. You haven't felt it yet in the world, you see, but that world's always last to change. First the spirit shifts, then the soul, then the mind, and finally the circumstances catch up with what heaven's already declared. I want you to understand the order of things, 'cause misunderstanding it has stolen peace from many. You've been waiting on the outside world to change before you'd let yourself believe, saying, I'll rejoice when the money comes, when the healings happen, when the door opens, when the person comes back, when the situation fixes itself. But that's backwards. Heaven works the other way round. Belief comes first. That quiet, unreasonable, almost foolish confidence that the one who loves you is working comes first. Then the visible world follows, like dawn coming after the first faint light in the sky. Birds sing before the sun's all the way up, singing in the half-light because they can feel the morning coming, even if they can't see it yet. I'm asking you to be one who sings in the half-light, who trusts the dawn before the sun's crested that hill. The movement started for you touches every part of your life, not just one corner, but all of it. The part that's been sick, the great healers looking at it, the part that's been broke and burdened. You're heading for a season where lack won't hold no more. The relationships that hurt you, they're being healed, and the ones meant for you, the true, faithful ones, are coming your way right now, walking paths you can't yet see, heading for a meeting you can't yet imagine. The doors that shut in your face, the ones you stood in front of crying, they're being reopened, or maybe better doors are being built where those old ones used to be. Sometimes that closed door was mercy, hiding a far greater opening just round the bend that you couldn't see through your tears. Now I gotta tell you something that ties all this to a truth bigger than just this message, bigger than this moment of warmth between us. You've felt it all your life, that there's a game going on beneath the surface, an invisible fight where you ain't no bystander but a chosen piece. A piece the enemy of your soul's been trying to remove from the board since before you even knew what was happening. Every time you got knocked down and got back up, every time you were close to being destroyed but survived, every strange protection you can't explain, every near miss, every moment you should have broken but didn't, all that's part of a battle fought over you, 'cause of what you carry, what you were sent here to do. You ain't ordinary. You never were. And the forces fighting the light have always known it even when you didn't. That's why I got to put something in your hands before we go on. Something made for this very moment of waking up. There's a sacred guide, a digital book called The 7 Swords of St. Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to break curses, seal blessings, and activate the calling of the chosen. It ain't just words on a page, it's a map of the invisible war I just told you about, teaching the rules of that battle most folks never hear. It shows how the great warrior of heaven, captain of the armies of light, wields 7 blades of holy fire, each one cut in a different chain that might be wrapped around your life right now. The blade that severs the cords of those who envy you and wish you harm in secret. The blade that breaks the sorrow passed down through your bloodline. The blade that cuts away the words spoken against you. Curses disguised as casual remarks. Heaviness sent into your home by folks who smiled while resenting your light. This guide calls them out, exposes them, and shows you exactly how that holy fire burns each one away. Now I'm telling you all this because the awakening I'm bringing to you ain't something you can carry on your own. And the one who sent me? He don't send his chosen ones into battle without a weapon in their hands. Now, I've pinned a link to this sacred guide right at the very top of the comments. First one you see so you can't miss it. I'll be straight with you. This knowledge, it's always made the darkness uneasy. There's folks out there who'd rather keep these teachings buried, tried more than once to hush 'em up, 'cause a soul that knows the rules of this invisible war, well, that soul ain't easy to beat no more. So go on now while that fire's still burning in your heart. Take hold of it. Download it right now. And as a sign of your faith, like a shout to heaven and to your own trembling heart, leave a comment that says, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." Say it out loud, type it out, send it out there like a seed of your believing, because the one who hears all things is listening for your yes. And once you've done that, come back here to me, because the revelation ain't over yet. What comes next depends on that yes you just spoke. That commitment you made, the brave little step of reaching for the weapon given to you, that's the very fuel for what I'm fixing to reveal. There's more written on the letter with your name than I've read out loud, and the deeper lines, the ones explaining why your journey's been so long and steep, are fixing to be laid before you now. You've asked, in the quiet of many long nights, the question that's haunted you more than any other. Why has it taken so long? Why, if you were chosen, if you were loved, if there was a plan for your life, has the road been so cruel and the wait so endless? You watched the years slip by. You saw your youth spent fighting just to get by. Seasons that ought to have been filled with joy were swallowed up by survival, the hard, grinding work of just holding on. And in those silent moments, the enemy of your soul whispered lies, that the delay meant you'd been left behind, forgotten, that the blessing you longed for was meant for everyone but you. I'm here to tear that lie apart right before your eyes, so it never has a hold on you again. That delay? It wasn't a punishment, no sign that God was angry with you. No, sir, that delay was preparation, it was protection. There were roads down there that would have destroyed you if you'd gotten there too soon. Doors you cried over not opening were actually hiding a ruin you couldn't have survived. Folks you longed for might have led you into a darkness you wouldn't have come back from. The hand that seemed to be holding back was really shielding you, guiding you, keeping you on a longer road. 'Cause that longer road was the only one that'd get you through with your life and your destiny intact. You cursed those detours, but those detours saved your life. You wept over closed doors, but those closed doors were mercies wearing the mask of disappointment. And there's more to it. This long road wasn't just about protection. It was like a lapidary's work, patient cutting and polishing of a precious stone. You've heard that the brightest gem starts out as a rough, unremarkable rock, right? That dazzling fire it finally throws off was hid deep inside, only to be brought out by a long, often painful grinding away of everything that's not essential. That's what these years have been doing to you, whether you saw it or not. Every hardship was a strike against that rough exterior. Every disappointment cut away illusions that'd have weakened you. Every betrayal taught you to see the true from the false. Every loss carved depth into a soul once shallow, brought compassion to a heart that might have gone hard, wisdom to a mind once naive. You didn't feel like you were being made beautiful. You felt broken. But the master jeweler, he don't break his stones, he reveals them. And what he's been revealing, slow and steady, through all these hard years, is the radiant thing you were always meant to be. Think about how much you've learned that only comes from this kind of journey. You know now how to stand firm when everything's falling apart. You know how to hold on to faith when faith don't seem to make no sense. You know who truly loves you and who's just using you. You know your own strength, a strength you'd never have found in an easy life, forged right in the fires you wished you could have avoided. Some folks go through comfortable lives never finding out what they're really made of, but you know, trials told you, you know. Trials. And that knowledge, this hard-earned certainty of who you are and what you can bear, that's a treasure no comfort could ever buy. That preparation also reached deep into the unseen parts of you, the parts no eye can measure. Your spirit was being made strong enough to carry a blessing weight that would have crushed a weaker vessel. Now listen close, 'cause this is one of the deepest secrets of the invisible world. Heaven don't pour great blessings into small, unready containers, 'cause the blessing itself would break 'em. Sudden fortune destroys the one unprepared to hold it. Sudden elevation topples the one without deep enough roots. Sudden love overwhelms the one who never learned to receive. So the one who loves you didn't hold back out of cruelty. He delayed it out of wisdom, growing your capacity year by year, deepening your roots, widening your soul, building your strength so when it comes, and it's coming, it won't break you. It'll fill you up. Right now, as you hear these words, something's happening you ought to know about. Reading this letter is part of the unsealing. As these truths settle in, layers of that old heaviness are lifting off you. Can you feel it? Even just a little. A loosening in your chest, a softening in your throat, a warm lightness across your shoulders where that weight's been sitting so long. That ain't your imagination. That's just the beginning of the lifting. Words from heaven ain't like words from men. Words from men inform, but words from heaven transform. They work in the unseen as they're spoken, breaking down, releasing, repairing, restoring. So just by staying here listening, letting these truths sink in, you're changing in ways you'll see soon enough. Now let me show you what I've seen. I want you to witness with your spirit's eyes the real war fought all around you. Close your body's eyes if you can, and open the eyes within. There's a realm just beyond this thin veil of what we see, a realm of blinding light and fierce beauty, where the armies of heaven move in formations too vast to count. And in that realm, right round your life, round your name, there's been a battle you never saw. I've seen the dark forces that gathered at the edges of your destiny, the shadowed shapes that whispered discouragement into your dreams, sat heavy on your hopes to smother them, worked through the mouths of those who hurt you and the hard times that crushed you. They're real, and they were sent to you with one goal: to keep the chosen one you are from ever waking up to the truth of what you carry inside. Now I've also seen what stood against y'all. I've seen the great captain of the heavenly host, the warrior whose name means just that question: who's like God? Coming down into the battles of your life with a sword of fire so bright the darkness ran off screaming, I've watched St. Michael plant his boots firm on your ground, raise that blazing sword, and bring it down on the chains that held you tight. And I heard that sound, those chains shattering like thunder rolling in a world beyond ours. I've seen all that darkness sent against you get scattered, run off like a scared dog. I've heard declarations of protection spoken over your home in a voice so mighty, it made the very foundations of the unseen tremble. You might not have felt none of this with your own 2 eyes or ears, but it was more real than the chair you're sitting in, more real than the floor beneath your feet, 'cause spirit's the deeper truth, and the world we see is just its shadow. There were nights, you might even remember 'em, when out of nowhere a peace came over you smack dab in the middle of your troubles, a calm that made no sense, given all the hurt and pain you were wading through. That wasn't by chance, no sir. That was the warrior of heaven standing guard while you slept, sword drawn, wings spread wide above your bed like a fire canopy the darkness couldn't cross. There were moments when you should have fallen, but you didn't. When the blow meant for you somehow glanced off. When a disaster that looked like it was coming your way just melted away before it even touched you. You might have called it luck or coincidence, but let me tell you, there ain't no such thing as coincidence for the chosen. Every one of those moments was a heavenly intervention, a battle won on your behalf in a war you didn't even know was raging around you while you were sleeping or fighting your daily battles. The decrees of heaven over your life have been spoken with a power nothing in all creation can undo. Now, understand what a decree is. It ain't no wish, ain't no hope. A decree is a settled, unshakable word, spoken from the throne of all power. And once it's said, all creation's got to line up and obey. The decree over your life is spoken. It says the years the locusts ate will be restored. It says the one who was last will be brought forward, that the forgotten will be remembered, the invisible seen, and the one who sowed in tears will reap joy so full it'll wipe away every memory of sorrow. This is spoken. It ain't waiting on no vote or permission from those who doubted you. It's just waiting on the appointed time, and that time ain't far off no more. I watched the host of heaven gather for you, rank after rank, a multitude no eye could count. I saw 'em turn their faces toward your life with a love so fierce, so focused, that I wish you could have seen it for just a moment. You'd never feel alone again, not for the rest of your days. You who thought no one was watching were watched by 10,000 times 10,000. You who felt no one fought for you had an army standing ready. You who thought your small life didn't matter, your name was the talk of councils held in the light, the cause of battles fought in glory, the center of a love so big, the whole weight of heaven leaned in your direction. This ain't poetry, friend. This is testimony. I was there, I saw it. And I'm here to tell you so you'll never again believe the lie of your own smallness. And right here in the middle of this vision of war and glory, I gotta hand you the sacred guide again, 'cause what I'm telling you is just what that guide was made to reveal. The digital book, The 7 Swords of St. Michael the Archangel, is here to teach you how to take your place in this battle fighting over you. It's one thing to be defended. It's a whole nother thing to learn how to stand and fight alongside your defender, to wield the authority given to the chosen, to speak those decrees yourself, to seal the blessings won on your behalf so they can't be snatched away in the night. That guide lays out all 7 blades and the exact chains each one cuts, and it shows you how to call on that holy fire in your own home with your own voice against the very darkness assigned to your life. The envy that sticks to you, the lack that won't let go, the heaviness that settles for no reason, the doors that shut without explaining. Each one's got a blade, and the guide names them all. The link's pinned right at the top of the comments, first thing you see, placed there just for this moment of your waking up. I remind you again, this knowledge has enemies. There are forces that'd rather keep it hidden. More than once, folks tried to bury these teachings because they set the captives free. Don't let them bury it for you. Reach out now, grab it, download it while the fire's still burning in you, and seal your choice with a declaration of faith. Leave a comment saying loud and clear, I am chosen and I will download the digital book. 'Cause saying it is an act of war, planting your flag, refusing to stay in that small, dim room of doubt no more. And once you say yes, come back. 'Cause now the letter turns to what's being given back to you, and you don't want to miss a single word of the restoration that's been decreed. See, it ain't enough for heaven's justice that the chains get broke. The one who loves you ain't satisfied just setting you free from what held you. He means to restore, and more than that, to multiply, to repay all those lost years with an overflow so mighty you won't know how to hold it all in. Hear this and let it sink deep down in your soul. Everything that was taken from you is marked to come back. Not just a little bit, not a careful fraction, all of it. Then some, pressed down, shaken together, spilling over into a life used to scarcity, but about to be drowned in plenty. Think on what was taken, the time lost to fighting, the years that felt wasted, the seasons of joy stolen by worry and grief. Heaven keeps track of stolen time, and there's a mystery in the spirit where lost years get restored, where a single season of blessing can hold the fullness of a whole decade of loss, where the one who shows up late by the world's clock arrives just in time by heaven's and receives in a rush all the good the slow years never brought. You'll look back and won't be able to explain how so much good came so quick, how a life that moved so slow suddenly showed up all at once. That's the math of restoration, and it don't follow the rules of this world. Now just take a minute and think on the provision that slipped through your fingers, the money run dry, the dreams you tucked away because there just wasn't room in a budget stretched so thin it was bout to snap. That season of scarcity? It's coming to a close. I ain't here to promise some empty dream of riches without meaning like the world's always chasing after. No, what I'm bringing to you is something far better, a provision straight from heaven itself. It's sufficiency wrapped in peace, abundance with a purpose. Not so you can hoard it out of fear, but so you can finally breathe deep, rest easy, and become that open hand of blessing you were always meant to be. That lack that taught you so much? Well, it's done with its work. It won't follow you into this new season. You're going to know what it means for your needs to be met, for you even speak them out loud, to see provision show up from places you never even dreamed of, to live without that gnawing fear that's been riding with you so long. And think on those relationships that left you hurt, the love held back, the loneliness that wrapped around you on those long, quiet nights. Restoration's coming right there too, down into the tender, guarded corners of your heart. The true connections meant just for you, held up by detours, are now being drawn near on paths you can't even see. And the wounds left by folks who couldn't love you, right? They're being healed by a love that never fails, a love that's never once turned away, a love that stood steady through every season when you felt unlovable. You're going to be seen. You're going to be known. You'll be cherished in ways that heal the places where you once felt tossed aside. That isolation? It's ending. The season of being unseen is closing, and a new season of belonging is opening up right before you. Now think on your body, your health, the strength drained from carrying too much for too long. The great healer is setting his gaze on every cell of you, on the weariness deep in your bones, on the troubles that medicine couldn't fix, on the heaviness that weighed you down. Restoration's reaching even there, into your flesh, your breath, into the steady beat of your heart, worn out by worry. You weren't made to live run down. You weren't made to drag yourself through each day on empty. The strength that was stolen from you is coming back, and you'll feel a vitality you'd forgotten was even possible. A lightness, a renewal, like years being lifted off you the way you shrug off a heavy coat after a long, cold walk. Now hear this, 'cause it'll steady you in the days ahead. The enemy of your soul, he's a thief by nature. And here's the truth of the Spirit. When a thief gets caught, he don't just give back what he took. No, sir, he pays it back many times over. Everything the darkness snatched from you has to be repaid, and not just equally, but multiplied beyond what was lost. That's why so many folks chosen by grace say their later days were better than anything before, that the abundance of their restoration dwarfed what they'd lost, that they almost, just about, thanked the trials for the great reward that followed. You're stepping into that latter season now, and it's going to be greater. The decree has been spoken and it can't fail. So I want you to start getting ready to receive, 'cause receiving is a skill folks who've been hurt gotta learn all over again. You've gotten so used to lack, so practiced at doing without, so good at holding your expectations low, that this coming abundance might feel scary at first. Almost too much, almost dangerous in its kindness. You might catch yourself flinching from the good like you used to flinch from the bad. You might hear that old voice saying, "Don't want it too much, don't believe in it too fully or it'll get snatched away." But I'm asking you right now to soften that guarded heart, to open those hands you've been clenching in fear, to give yourself permission to want the good, to believe in the good, and to receive it without suspicion stealing your joy. This blessing is real. You're allowed to have it, allowed to enjoy it. After all you've been through, you're allowed to be happy. Now I feel that question rising up inside you, that careful, scared, hopeful question the hurt heart always asks when offered something this big. How can I be sure? How can I know this is real, that it's meant for me, that I ain't just hearing what I want to hear? Listen closer, 'cause the answer ain't in the noise outside. It's in the quiet place deep inside, beneath all your thoughts, where you've always known things you couldn't explain. Heaven's confirmation don't come as some sign in the sky or a voice in the wind. God comes as a deep, unreasonable peace, a knowing that settles right in the center of you, a certainty that don't need proof 'cause it's older and deeper than any evidence. Haven't you felt it, even now, just a little, as these words have passed through you? That quiet inner yes, that's the confirmation. That's your spirit recognizing the voice of the one who made it all. The world's going to tell you to trust only what you can prove, what you can hold and measure and verify. But the deepest truths of life, they never came that way. You didn't prove you were loved before you felt it. You didn't prove a moment was sacred before it moved you to tears. The realest things come first to the spirit, and maybe later, if ever, to the mind. So I'm asking you to trust that witness inside, that quiet surety that stirred as you listened. The part of you that, beneath all your fear and caution, knows these words are true, meant for you, and that the long, dark night you've been waiting through is finally, truly coming to an end. And yet I know the pain ain't fully loosened its grip on you yet, 'cause there's a deeper wound beneath all the ones you named. A secret ache you never spoke loud to no one, not even yourself, in the honest dark. It's that fear that maybe you were never really wanted, that even before the world turned its back, something from the very start marked you as the one left behind. You've felt it in how you brace yourself for goodbyes, in how you wait for folks to leave before they even do, in how you love with one hand always reaching for the door. That's the oldest scar, the first cut, the one all the others just fell on and made worse. But I've come right into this place, and the place no one else has ever been allowed, to tell you this. The one who made you wanted you fierce, so fierce he wove your very being against every force that tried to stop it. You weren't an accident in this world. You were a choice from heaven fought for before you even took your first breath. Now let me tell you all about a man who felt that hidden ache deeper than most folks ever do. There was this young fella named Joseph, the apple of his daddy's eye, who dreamed big dreams about his own future and wasn't shy about speaking them out loud. Well, his own kin, brothers, flesh of his flesh, caught him out in a field far from home, tossed him in a dry pit, then sold him off to strangers passing by. They even took his fine coat, drenched it in blood, and showed it to their daddy to make him believe Joseph was gone for good. Can you imagine that sting of betrayal? Sold by the very hands that ought to have held him close, carried away crying into a strange land where nobody knew his name. But that ain't where the story stops. In that foreign land, Joseph was lied on, falsely accused, and thrown into a jail cell to rot for years, years he'd never get back. Forgotten by the folks he'd helped, left in the dark, with every reason to grow bitter and hard. But even in that pit, even in that cell, heaven wasn't nowhere near absent. Every step down that looked like ruin was really a step closer to a throne. And one day, that forgotten prisoner stood as the most powerful man in all the land. His very brothers, the ones who sold him out, bowed before him. And he looked at him without a hint of hate, saying that what they meant for evil, the good Lord turned around